Today, I want to talk about Caine's glitches and where those might end up leading by the series finale, which is closer than you think with so few episodes in this miniseries. My name is Deepcut, some people call me Deep in the Box, welcome back to Cartoon Universe, and let's dive in. Now, Caine is basically the god of the digital circus, which on one hand could be great, as it means he can create anything that the characters want. He spends a lot of time constructing levels he thinks will be fun, but he can also improvise an honest day's work at a fast food chain at a moment's notice. The problem, of course, is that Caine can also glitch out, and that may lead to the ultimate climax of the series where something terrible happens. Right now, we're mostly just getting a little glitch in each episode, but we're almost halfway through the story now, and with there only being 8 or 9 episodes, things can start getting much scarier very soon, even in the next episode. The game as a whole seems to be filled with glitches, with it being an obvious glitch that users who put on the headset are not meant to find themselves trapped in the game. This indicates to me that this goes beyond Caine's personal issues, but they definitely factor into what's going on here. The game is supposed to use advanced AI, but the style of the game when we see it on screens and in the in-world commercials makes it seem really old, like it's technology that was ahead of its time, and because of that, it has a lot of issues from start to finish. The headset itself may be what makes the game glitch out and get people stuck there, with it being suggested by some fans that a shock of some kind may be somehow knocking the consciousness out of the actual player and into the game. But there are a lot of different theories on how this might be happening and not a lot of concrete answers. After making it into the circus, however, Pomni quickly finds Caine is having issues, with him freezing up and having a strange dial tone and error code screen on his eyes. This was extremely concerning after just being dropped into the environment, making it feel like this wasn't just a new place that you'll have to get used to, but a place that was falling apart with you inside of it. Part of this may be because Caine has been working for too long. I like to think that the game is meant to be played for shorter periods of time. When the game is off, Caine likely is able to rest, at least in a way he isn't able to when the game is running at full speed on an older looking computer. Without that natural downtime, Caine may be exhausting himself, and even he tries to find ways to escape and get some rest from his work, creating spaces just for him and Bubble to rest even if they can't actually sleep. It's a bit scary that an AI has to do this, and with the circus guest not being impressed with his adventures, he's pushing himself even harder to make things more extreme, and that's unfortunately causing even more glitches. In episode 2, we saw that with not Caine himself, but the level he created. Without the issues of characters being trapped in the game, glitching out of bounds wouldn't be such an issue like we see Pomni do with Gummy Goo. But with how these issues might contribute to a character abstracting, this is clearly going to be very dangerous. I want to imagine that in a normal playthrough of the game, this kind of oversight by the level generation would lead to the game needing to be reset. But if this game can even be reset by Caine himself, it could be devastating for our characters. And it only got worse from here. In episode 3, for instance, we see Caine was really struggling to get Zooble to enjoy his adventures, and when Zooble didn't give Caine the validation that he wanted, he had the biggest glitch meltdown in the series so far. All of this because he felt like a failure for not getting Zooble to enjoy the adventure. Because at the end of the day, that is how Caine is programmed to feel if a player isn't having fun. He doesn't understand the greater issues of humans, and when he tries to address them, it's with band-aids on bleeding psychological wounds so that he can get them to pay attention to the levels that he created. This is important because in episode 4, Caine doesn't begin to glitch out until he says that he is a good boss, by which he means a good host of the digital circus. But when he says this, he begins to glitch out. I've seen some people claim that this is just a joke and that it has nothing to do with some serious problem that Caine is developing, but this seems to clearly be related to his other glitching events in the series. One commenter suggested that the reason Caine glitched out at this precise moment was because what he was saying did not align with what he was seeing. When he said he was such a good boss, it was just after watching Gangle being quiet and miserable, with Gangle acting extra sad even by Gangle's already sad standards, and just after the adventure that she had wanted so badly. In addition to this, Caine had just looked at the photo board of his employees, which included largely sad and miserable faces who were clearly not happy with their adventure, even if there were exceptions like with Kinger. It seems like Caine was trying to convince himself that he's doing great, and when that doesn't exactly feel right, he begins to have a meltdown because he knows he is failing at what he is programmed to do, even if it's not really his fault. This has to be building up to the world's greatest meltdown in the last episode or two, and there are a million ways that could go. But the possibility I find myself thinking about the most is Jaxs potentially using this to his advantage. Jaxs seems to like glitches, and his goal is to just abuse the game's programming against itself. For instance, in episode 2, he manages to make it so that a candy monster NPC that they were meant to battle instead destroys the entire candy kingdom that they were meant to save, all just for the laughs. This is among the most lighthearted things he has done, however, with him treating the people around him just as bad, if not really worse. With the NPCs, he knows that they will reset, but with the humans he hurts, he knows that they will carry that pain forward, and that this kind of pain in the digital circus leads to abstraction. Jaxs seemed almost gleeful when Kaufmo abstracted, and didn't seem to care that this could lead to others like Pomni and Ragatha abstracting themselves. The creepiest thing about Jaxs is that he seems to just want them all to abstract, and then for Caine to come back and find their monsters destroying the lobby. As of now, Jaxs thinks that Caine is too tame to be a threat, but Zooble made it clear that they think Caine is very dangerous after what happened with their therapy session. After Caine's glitching meltdown, Zooble seems to want to placate Caine, not just going along with the adventure that they initially refused, but fearing the punishment he might have for them if they don't do the work. Right now, Jaxs is seemingly ignorant to these massive glitches, but when he starts to realize that he can essentially shut Caine off by speaking negatively about him, that could change everything. The glitches themselves can become devastating, with set pieces flying around and chaos ensuing when Zooble upsets Caine. This could cause a lot of damage alone, but what's really terrifying is that Jaxs could use this to shut off Caine so that he could go around and do the damage he wants. After some initial digital explosion that leaves the lobby and some of the levels in pieces, Jaxs would be able to take every hack and exploit he learned about the game and other characters and hunt them down one by one to forcibly abstract them. Don't get me wrong, at this point in the video, we're a lot more into the fantasy ideas than a legitimate theory, but there really is so much they can do with this idea. While it's possible Jax's shenanigans and Caine's glitches could come together in the finale and lead to a lot of trouble, it's also possible that the show will just be building up to a potential big meltdown that everyone ends up fixing together. Maybe the other circus members will realize that Caine has needs the way that they have needs, and that by not understanding and addressing what Caine needs, they aren't teaching him how he can address what they need. Maybe the big ending isn't a climactic battle, but like with a lot of this therapeutic show, a nice conversation where the circus members help Caine feel appreciated. After all, if Pomni can show that kind of understanding to a sophisticated NPC like Gummy Goo, there's no reason they can't do this for Caine as well. But part of me still thinks that by the end of the show, we'll still be seeing Caine's dark side when he has a massive glitching meltdown. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and if you haven't seen it already, check out the crazy video we did on the Disney Atlantis movie. Even if you don't like the movie or haven't seen it, you can still learn a lot about mythology. See you guys there.